The Tesla Model X, just for the record, is my dream vehicle. You know, if money was not a factor and I could just blow as much as I want on any car possible, then I would probably get either a 5 or 7-seater Model X, just because having a vehicle that sits up higher is more comfortable. I love the yoke. I love the larger landscape display. I love the windshield design of the Model X, and I'm even a fan of the falcon wing doors, which are pretty controversial. But that being said, the manufacturing of the Model X has always been notoriously known for being very complicated because of how many ultrasonic sensors it needs, not just for regular park assist or auto park or smart summon, but as Chris from Dirty Tesla elegantly pointed out, there are ultrasonic sensors on the top of the Model X to help measure the clearance at the top of the vehicle, so those automatic opening doors know exactly how much they can open without hitting the roof above them. So naturally, there's already a lot of people debating, does this mean Tesla is ditching ultrasonic sensors on the top of the Model X as well? Are they going to keep the sensors up there just for the doors? In fact, there's already additional ultrasonic sensors, not just on the top, but on the sides of the vehicle, just so that it can measure distance between how close you are parked to other vehicles, and using that distance to figure out how exactly those doors should open as to not hit the vehicles around them. And simultaneously, there's been another development related to the Model X, so I was kind of bunching together video ideas here, but Ray for Tesla, who has insider sources and has kind of leaked accurately things going on in Tesla China in the past, says that there's a rumor that CATL, the company that builds all of Tesla's lithium iron phosphate batteries currently, has received an order request from Tesla China for a new battery pack that's configured for a longer wheelbase than the current Model Ys, which he's saying would be released in the first half of 2023. So whenever someone says the first half of something, that means push it to the very last minute. So probably next summer, they want to have a larger battery pack for a larger wheelbase, and Sawyer Merritt pointed out something kind of interesting. The larger wheelbase is said to be 2,965 millimeters, which is exactly the wheelbase of the Model X. Now, it's very common in China for them to have different variants of crossovers and sedans that have extended wheelbases. I guess that's a pretty common trend for lots of different brands there, so a lot of people were assuming this is just going to be an extended wheelbase version of the Model Y. Hopefully that would involve having a roomier third row, or I don't know, maybe a Model Y with slightly more cargo space, but that feels like a big jump or kind of a big redesign for the Model Y to have, considering how simple and streamlined the Model Y production line is, how basically the dimensions are almost identical, whether it's built in Germany, Texas, Fremont, or China. The Model Y is very, very similar across different demographics, so Tesla China specifically releasing a different model that would probably require different casting pieces, different body pieces just for an extended wheelbase. Yeah, maybe that's possible, but what I find far more likely, given down to the exact millimeter this matches the wheelbase of the Model X, I think that Tesla may be planning on manufacturing the Model X in China, and yes, potentially even building a Model X with a lithium iron phosphate battery pack, which, in case you didn't know, it's a safer, cheaper, lower energy dense chemistry, but they're able to build those kinds of batteries at much higher scales. So this hypothetical Model X that China may be building would probably have much less range than the Model X in the United States, but it would probably sell for a lot less as well, which I think is a worthy trade-off. As someone who's owned a lithium iron phosphate Tesla now for over a month, I'm very happy with the current range it's offering, and I love the Model X, so to put my favorite battery chemistry into my favorite dream vehicle, like, yes, I'm all aboard this train. But why in that case would Tesla want to build the Model X in China instead of just importing it from Fremont, which is what they've been doing? Well, for one, it's fairly well known that Tesla China has basically caught up with demand, and vehicles do not have that long of a wait time domestically in that region. So Tesla may be trying to rethink their strategy and say, okay, we have the materials or we have the output capacity to build more vehicles. What do we want to build? Do we want to start lowering prices on the Model Y? Or do we want to introduce a cheaper version of the Model X that's built locally? That way we convince a lot more people to buy Teslas, and they're buying a higher margin Tesla that they can make a lot of money on, and increase demand for their higher margin vehicles first, and then if maybe that doesn't work out or they can't get enough orders for it, then maybe they'll start lowering prices of the Model 3 and Y in China. But not having to import those vehicles from Fremont would likely save a lot on shipping costs, plus it would not bottleneck the 1865 cells that Tesla is currently using in the Model S and X. But still, to this day, I think it makes sense to kind of expand the Model X production capacity no matter where you are in the globe, because the Model X is still the most back-ordered Tesla out of all of their options. You have to wait an incredibly long time time, there's still a lot of people on Tesla Twitter that have ordered Model X's like over 2 years ago that are still waiting on their cars. Like, it's insane how expensive the Model X is, and yet at the same time, it's severely backordered, and Tesla's ramping production. They said in their last delivery report that, you know, they delivered over 18,000 of these things. So it's clearly not a demand problem with the Model X, but maybe their thought process is, if CATL can deliver more lithium iron phosphate battery packs to us, should we put those in cheaper Teslas with lower margins, or put those in our more luxury vehicles that, okay, a more expensive crossover from Tesla with the Falcon Wing doors and stuff, maybe it doesn't have that great a range, but because Tesla has expanded the supercharger network so much in the region, I think there's a lot of people that would take a standard range Model X, but because it's lithium iron phosphate, you can charge it to 100% every day, and you're gonna get all of those luxury features, the active noise cancellation, the panoramic windshield, the yoke, the ventilated seats, the improved display. There's all kinds of reasons I think people would spend the extra money to go for a Model X, and that may be a very wise financial move on Tesla's part. But at the same time, if Tesla is planning on ditching these ultrasonic sensors to hopefully accelerate production or lower cost of operations, will the Falcon Wing doors still work without these sensors? Like, can the occupancy network and the performance of the full self-driving beta enable Tesla Vision to see the surroundings of your parking area or the parking garage you're pulling into and actually start measuring vertical space as you're pulling into that area? Maybe the front cameras are good enough where they feel confident that, yeah, they can even measure the roof above the vehicle as you're pulling into that parking space, and the doors will adjust accordingly. And some people online I've talked with are even going as far as to say that they think the Tesla Model X may drop the Falcon Wing doors soon, and maybe we'll just adopt a traditional door approach that's in line maybe with what the Model S already has. You know, just door handles that present themselves, and you just open the door and get inside like you would ordinarily. That would likely save a lot on manufacturing, because they wouldn't have to build in all of these auto-presenting doors and the additional ultrasonic sensors, and just having a traditional door handle that you just pull and get inside the car. That would likely save a lot of steps, and I'm guessing they could likely build a lot more vehicles much faster. But honestly, that would just crush me a little bit on the inside, because I feel like the Falcon Wing doors are like the most iconic thing about the Model X, and I feel like it would lose a lot of its wow factor, and especially for accessibility reasons. A lot of people talk about how much they love their Model X because of those Falcon Wing doors going straight up. It's easier for car seats, it's easier for people in wheelchairs to get in the vehicle. Maybe there could be a compromise where the doors are still auto-presenting, they're just not Falcon Wing anymore. But either way, I feel like it's fascinating that there's this many changes going on with the Model X route, because it's Tesla's like best vehicle overall. I mean, it's the most expensive one, but it's just like the no compromises vehicle, the car they put everything into. That will probably change once the Cybertruck comes out. I think they're gonna go all out with that, but ditching the ultrasonic sensors, which Tesla said on their website they are removing from the Model S and X. I'm not sure if that applies to the roof sensor or the occupancy network is going to be able to handle those doors, but basically, from what I'm gathering, it sounds like to lower wait times and accelerate production, they may start building vehicles like the Model X and S in China, which makes sense. It's a very efficient factory with a lot of square footage to work with, and less of a wait time means that there's more demand that Tesla may need to come up with soon, and rather than first just cutting prices and eating into margins, they may find ways to get more and more people to buy the Model S and X if the wait time is lower and the price is a lot lower, which I think LFP would help with. I don't think the Model X would end up being as cheap as a performance Model Y per se, but probably a lot cheaper than it is here in the United States. They'll just price it according to how many people are ordering it, but what do you guys think Tesla should do with the Model X? Do you think they should keep the ultrasonic sensors for the roof? Do you think they should start building it locally in regions like China, where a lot of people are willing to spend that kind of money on luxury vehicles, and it seems like CATL has the capacity to provide them with more battery packs? All that good stuff. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and thank you to everyone on Patreon supporting this channel directly. It seriously helps us out a ton, as does just watching these videos. So thanks again, and have an excellent rest of your day.